Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Regina and Friends Crime Chat. Today we are going to be giving updates and hopefully a little bit of closure um, in Troy Alexander Strope's case. For those of you who've been with us that long, um, I started covering her case over just over a year and a half ago when she was found on the side of the road in a Walmart plastic storage tote. I didn't know anything about Troy, and I couldn't imagine how someone could end up where she ended up. So I went and I looked her up. Um, I looked up, everything I could on her, and I found one of her Facebook postings, and I'm going to read it for you guys after I go over everything that we're going to go over. I'm going to read this post to you. It moved me, and I couldn't understand how such a beautiful woman would ever end up on the side of the road in a bin like that. And there's more to tell to Troy's story, but today we are going to be talking about justice. As you guys know, I have been in court pretty much all week. Monday, trial was set for Michael Lacy on first degree murder, possession of a firearm by certain individuals. This is Michael Lacy. He is the one who was charged with her murder. So, Monday was the date that trial was supposed to begin. And I went to St. Francis County District Court and I sat in the courtroom. I was greeted by Aunt Linda while I was there, who was sitting with Troy's son. And I sat and I waited. And then, after they went through other prisoners, Michael Lacy's case come up and he said, Wednesday, 9 a.m., trial begins. Whenever I got to St. Francis County on Wednesday, um, Aunt Linda, Troy's aunt, informed everyone that nobody, even should be at the courthouse until 11 because that was whenever they were going to get to doing jury selection. So I went and I had lunch with a friend and I went to court at 1 p.m. It was 1 p.m., not a.m. I'm sorry. 1 p.m. When I got to the courthouse at 1 p.m. Oh, here's something really cool. Shout out to Judge Danny Glover. Happened to run into him at lunch. I walked up to him. I asked him because I've been denied taking any writing utensils or paper or anything in the courtroom every time I start to enter the courtroom because you have to go through a metal detector and everything. Well, I've been denied taking even a pencil or piece of paper to take notes to the courtroom the entire time I've been covering this case and going to court. I walked up to Mr. Clever. I said, Are you Judge Clever? He said, Yes, I am. I said, I'm an independent journalist. I've been covering Troy Alexander Strope's case. I have been denied taking a writing utensil, a notebook, or anything into the courtroom the entire time. This case is of utmost importance to the public. I'm asking you personally, may I please take a notebook and pen or pencil into the courthouse to take notes? And he said, yes, ma'am, you most certainly can. Tell them to call up to me whenever you get into the courthouse. So shout out to Judge Danny Glover, Judge Glover, for that. I am forever in your debt and appreciative. So get to the courthouse at 1 p.m. and I get through. First, he doesn't want to let me take my pen and notebook up there, and I said, "Call up." Judge Glover personally said that I could bring this into the courtroom, and he said, "Okay, when you go upstairs, there's going to be a deputy sheriff meet you at the door. He'll have to go up to Judge Glover, and but he let me take it. And I got up there and I started to open the courtroom door, but Judge Glover was talking, and I didn't want to be rude and go into the courtroom, so I just listened. And I hear, we don't have enough for a full quorum. Only 48 people showed up to serve on jury Wednesday at 1 p.m. There were members not enough potential jurors to meet the required minimum of 50 to meet a full quorum to select jurors from. So Judge Glover advises the sheriffs to go out and knock on doors to get his jury there by tomorrow. That this was the most important case possibly in St. Francis County history, and he wanted his jurors there. Knock on doors. That was, I tell you what, Judge Glover really got some points with me for the way he handled everything. Because by the next morning, I thought we would be lucky to get enough people there. And I'm going to tell you what happened, my experience, and then I'm going to tell you about the conversation I had with Aunt Linda a little bit, what she told me I could share and explain it a little better. But since I knew that enough people hadn't showed up the next day, I decided that I was going to get there around 9:30, between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. Excuse me, let me grab a drink. And I might sit in on the last part of jury selection, and then, hopefully trial would begin, opening statements, you know, maybe by 1 p.m. is what I was thinking. Well, I get to the courthouse, and and like it's empty. Hold on just a moment. Sorry, my daughter just got home. Um, so I get to the courthouse and no one's there. Well, I've had eyes and sources in the courthouse, and I even ended up meeting one of the potential jurors that did show up for duty. In which, and I told this person, don't talk to me about the case. I'm not, I'm don't talk to me. um, but the next day, um, when I was at the courthouse and I pulled up and it's basically empty, the parking lot's empty and everything else, and I'm like, what is going on? So I call a friend that I have, that works, in Forest City, and she told me that the potential jurors had already left because Michael Lacy took a plea deal for 45 years. And then I was told that some other things that ended up not being true by the same person. But the truth in what that person had said was that Michael Lacy had gotten 45 years. He took a plea deal. So I sat in the parking lot and I started making phone calls and sending messages out and calling other sources. And then after I had been after it had been confirmed that he pled guilty to first degree murder and possession of the firearm for 45 years, I decided I was going to go ahead and drive home because I had been there better part of 8 hours a day most of the week. So I drove home, and when I got home, Aunt Linda called me and she told me that this was a good thing. He got 45 years and he would never be able to hurt another person because he would be 93 years old by the time he got out. Okay. So, Michael Lacy, sentenced 45 years without the chance of parole. Okay. He's going to be in there for 45 years. This is Todd Murray. He is the first circuit judicial prosecuting attorney. This is the man that was in court. This is the man that showed up as a special prosecutor to try Michael Lacy. This is the man that got the deal with Michael Lacy, the plea deal, got him to take the 45-year plea deal, which might I add was more time than the first plea deal than he was offered, and kept this family from having to go through the details in open court of what happened to Troy. So I got to give props to him. His name is Todd Murray. Now, I'm going to. Is this it? Okay, no, this is not it. I want to read this from Aunt Eve because this is a public statement before I read the press release. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to start by saying we have an amazing God. I was not going to post anything tonight. I wanted to come home to put my feet up and breathe. But then St. Francis County Sheriff's Department had to go and put out a post, which has people stirred up over 70%. I think it would be better if they work on policeman stuff and leave the explaining to us. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I read pretty good. Below is posted two pictures. One is the law in Arkansas, and the other is the press release by blah, 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 SFCS. Please read them both and then decide for yourself if he is serving 45 years or 31.5 years. This is not a debate. Take what you get from it and do what you need to. Now, tomorrow, after some rest and some sleep, I will share what happened in court today. There is one thing I am very grateful for. I want to thank Mr. Todd Murray for being in the courtroom today. I want to thank all the people at the courthouse that worked on this case for stepping up and showing out. Matt Mullins, and this was the victim's advocate. You are my hero. Thank you for all you have done for our family. I could not have handpicked a better person to work with. I believe you have found your calling, young man. May God bless you and your family. They had originally started out with a different victims advocate, and they were not happy with the results of that. But along the way, they were given Mr. Matt Mullins as their victims advocate. And I have to say, from knowing this case firsthand, inside and out, he was truly there for Troy's family. He went above and beyond to help them get information, to prepare them, and to work with them in getting justice for Troy. And I hope that he stays a victim's advocate personally as well. All right. So, with that said, we're going to go on to the press release because that's what's next. Man sentenced to ABC for murdering a woman and stuffing her body in a plastic tote. This was posted 8 the 21st of 2025, which was yesterday, Thursday. Let me get a drink. I'm so sorry. Thirsty. Okay. Michael Lacy, 46 years old, of Forest City, Arkansas, pled guilty today in St. Francis County Circuit Court for the murder of Troy Strope, whose body was discovered in a rural area off County Road 731 in St. Francis County, Arkansas. On February the 20th of 2024, investigators were notified that a body was discovered stuffed in a plastic tote and left along the side of the road. The body was submitted to the state medical examiner's office and was identified as that of Troy Strope of St. Francis County. Investigators learned that Troy had been shot multiple times with a shotgun at close range and was also stabbed multiple times. During the course of the investigation, investigators were able to identify a suspect and a search warrant was executed at Lacy's residence here in Forest City. During the search, investigators seized forensic evidence, later linking Lacy to the murder. Lacy ultimately confessed to murdering Strope and disposing of her body. Michael Lacy was sentenced to 40 years for first-degree murder and 5 years for possession of a firearm by a certain person, where both sentences were ordered to run consecutively, and he will have to serve 70% of his sentence. And this is what Aunt Eve, not Aunt Eve, I'm sorry. That's Troy's other Aunt Eve. She's the one that did the interviews. Um, Aunt Linda knew something that most people didn't, and whoever posted this press release. Oh, that's not it. Hold on, it's here. Nope, that's not it. One second. Where did I put it? No. Oh my goodness, I forgot to post it. Hold on just a second. Here it is. Let me pull this up. There we go. So this took effect at the first of the year. And this is why Michael Lacy will be serving every day of 45 years in prison for the murder of Troy Strope. Act 659, commonly known as the Protect Arkansas Act, has profound implications for those involved in felony offenses. This act mandates that individuals convicted of serious crimes such as murder, rape, aggravated robbery, trafficking, and sex crimes involving minors must serve their entire sentence. For those convicted of other felonies, a minimum of 85% of their sentences is required to be served. then there was Act 8, has brought about clarification in an existing law concerning sentences for felony offenses involving firearms. Effective from January the 1st, 2024, individuals sentenced for felonies committed with a firearm are no longer eligible for early release. This amendment aims to reinforce the severity of crimes involving firearms and emphasizes the commitment to public safety. And you see, because Michael Lacy was in possession of a firearm during the commission of the murder of Troy Strope, that means that he is not eligible for early release whatsoever. He must serve every day of his 45 years. So he will not be getting out. Hello, Stranger Ranger. It's good to see you. You guys, thank you for joining me. I'm sorry I'm not being very active in chat. I just want to make sure that I get all this information out um, really quick, and then I'm going to open the panel up to my guest in Discord. So, there's the thank you letter from Aunt Linda. That brings me to what people have said was the most impactful victim statement they've ever heard. And I believe that was Judge Glover or Mr. Todd Murray. I forget which, but I know that it was said in court. Um, Aunt Linda told me. So Aunt Linda posted the victim impact statement. Um, she actually read this impact statement to me in a phone call before she ever read it in court, and it left me crying. Aunt Linda is one of the strongest women. I mean, I know some strong women, but what she has been through to stand up and fight for Troy in all of this, I just want to say that if anything should ever happen to me, I pray to God that someone loves me enough to fight like Troy's family has for her, especially Aunt Linda and Aunt Eve. So, with that said, I'm going to read y'all the victim impact statement that Aunt Linda read in court. Victim impact statement. My name is Linda Robertson. Thank you, Your Honor, for allowing me to be heard. Mr. Lacy has made one thing very clear. He is not sorry for brutally killing Troy. He just wants to get second-degree murder so he doesn't die in prison. But Mr. Lacy dying in prison is exactly what should happen. If allowed to breathe free air again, he will kill again. When he does, some other person will be standing in my place pleading with you for what is right. Troy's father died when she was a teenager. Her mother died 10 years ago. I was always the go-to aunt, even more so after the death of both of her parents. I have now buried my sister and her only daughter. August the 8th of this year is 2 birthdays that have passed without Troy. The emotional, physical, and financial toll this has taken on me is unbearable. Just for truth, there was a paragraph here. I removed it because it was highly personal. You can get the impact without it. But today, when you see a butterfly dancing on a rose, I need you to remember I will never again get to share that with my niece. Troy was the mother of three beautiful, amazing children: Austin, Lathan, and Cheyenne. Will never share another precious moment with their mother. Not a wedding or a grandchild will Troy be able to take part in. Their lives are forever changed. They have lost jobs, friends, and their place in the world. I can only imagine what goes through her daughter's mind when she walks through town and people point and make comments about the fact that her mother was found dead, stuffed in a tote. It's crazy that my sister Eve, Troy's godmother, is not here today because she spoke out and did interviews to bring attention to this case and fears for her safety. What was taken from us as a family can never be replaced or mended. This does this doesn't just shake us as people, it rocks the core foundation on which we stand. Treat others the way you want to be treated. That changed us as a family. Changes we can see and feel in each other, quick to anger and to tears. We cannot begin to explain the impact this has had on everyone who loved Troy, nor do I believe we should be able to. God knows our hearts. They took our right to say goodbye, leaving us not even knowing the day she died. In its place, we get the day she was found that weighs very heavily on all of us. This was something you can never understand unless you have been there or been here. When we turn down the lights at night to settle in our minds, become full of torment. The wonder how long she suffered, we know it was not a quick death. Sleep does not come, but the tears and anger do. Troy never had anything, but she had a kind soul, a heart that listened with an understanding look that made you feel like someone heard you. We as a family hope and pray you can hear Troy's last cries, cries that went unanswered. We pray you answer those cries by giving Mr. Lacy the maximum penalty under law. We need you, Your Honor, to make it so that no other family. uh, what just happened to it? No, I just lost it. Hold on. Oh, it's not showing it big here. Hold on just a second. Let me grab it so I can finish reading it. I'm so sorry. It's not showing the bottom. One moment, please. I'm going to start at the top of the paragraph. This doesn't just shake us as people, it rocks the core foundation on which we stand. Treat others the way you want to be treated. It changes us as a family, changes we can see and feel in each other, quick to anger and to tears. We cannot begin to explain the impact this has had on everyone who loved Troy, nor do I believe we should be able to. God knows our hearts. They took our right to say goodbye, leaving us not knowing the day she died. In its place, we get the day she was found that weighs very heavily on all of us. This is something you can never understand unless you have been here. When we turn down our lights, when we turn down the lights at night to settle in, our minds become full of torment. We wonder how long she suffered. We know it was not a quick death. Sleep does not come, but the tears and anger do. Troy never had anything, but she had a kind soul, a heart that listened with an understanding look that made you feel like someone heard you. We as a family hope and pray you can hear Troy's last cries, cries that went unanswered. We pray you answer those cries by giving Michael Lacy the maximum penalty under law. We need you, Your Honor, to make it so that no other family will have to endure the pain that our family has had to live through. Thank you for listening to me. Here we go. So that was um, the impact statement that Aunt Linda gave the court. Um, it was beautiful. It was very beautiful. And I know after everything that the family has gone through, they want time to breathe and relax in everything that has happened. The God's honest truth is that Troy died, but knowing that Michael Lacy is going to be in prison more than likely for the rest of his natural life, 45 years, and he's 46. He'll be 93 before he can get out of prison. Knowing that she and her family took this man off the street so that he can never hurt another soul is a victory and a blessing to every other one of us. Their suffering and their pain is what will keep the streets free of this monster. And Troy didn't die in vain. Aunt Linda, this is, I'm saying this to you. You gave Troy a voice. You and Aunt Eve gave Troy a voice. All of your family that was there and stood up for Troy and never backed down, even in the face of adversary and being called horrible things and everything else. Y'all were her voice. She did that. Y'all did that. And it has been a blessing to get to know you and your family through this process. I know it's not completely over yet. I know that there is still truths to be found and sought for. And I know, Aunt Linda, that you are absolutely determined to do that for Troy. And you do it out of love. And I'm blessed to know you guys. Y'all are amazing, amazing people. And now I would like to read something to all of you guys about Troy, um, written by Troy. This is what moved me to want to know even more about Troy. And let me tell you something. I've heard some of the funniest stories. I've heard some of the most amazing things about her. And she was a smile everywhere she went. Everyone I have talked to about Troy said that she was kind and compassionate and was always smiling. Had something to say to everybody she come across. She didn't even know a stranger. So I would like to read this because I think this is one of the most beautiful things I've ever read in my life, to be honest with you. And Troy wrote it. I have hated this woman. I've not loved her at full capacity. I fed her lies and told her she wasn't good enough, and have allowed others to tell her she wasn't good enough. I've allowed her to be broken. I've allowed others to treat her disrespectfully. I've allowed her to run through brick walls and battle for others who won't even stand for her. I couldn't stop individuals from abandoning her. Yet I've seen her get up and stand to be a light to the world and love others despite all that. I have stood paralyzed by fear while she fought battles in her mind, heart, and soul. This woman has screwed up many times as a girlfriend, a daughter, or as a friend because she doesn't always say or do the right things. She has a smart mouth and she has secrets. She has scars because she has a history. Some people love this woman, some like her, and some people don't care for her at all. She has done good in her life. She has done bad in her life. She will not pretend to be someone she is not. She is who she is. Every mistake, failure, trial, disappointment, success, joy, and achievement has made her the woman she is today. You can love her or not, but if she loves you, she will do it with her whole heart, and she will make no apologies for the way she is. This woman is a warrior. She's not perfect, but God calls her worthy. She's unstoppable, gracefully broken, but beautifully standing. She is loved. She is life. She is transformation. She is grace. She is brave. She is Troy. Yeah. Yeah. Who that still gets me. Okay, so that is what I wanted to get out. The information I wanted to get out and everything. So I'm gonna put the panel link in Discord if anyone would like to come up. Man. She was so pretty, you guys. She's still beautiful, and she always will be. Right? A million goosebumps. A million goosebumps every time I read that. Stranger, I posted the link in Discord if you want to come up. If um if nobody wants to come up, I'm gonna go ahead and end it out soon. I'm gonna be doing Yeah, it's gonna make you talk out loud, Stranger Ranger. Okay. Um if you don't want to come up yet, um I'm gonna be doing another live stream here in just a little while. There have been updates in uh the Emmanuel Harrow case. Um and I'm gonna be covering that. Do you want to come up then or do you want to come up now? Nope. Something happened, it dropped. That's okay, Stranger Ranger. If you want to, I can go ahead and end this live out. And I was going to do another one for 5, and I can get you in early and show you how to do it. Would that, do you want to join me on the next one at 5? That way I can give you some time to show you how to get up here and stuff. That's okay. We can get in the Discord. I'll pull you into a room and I'll walk you through it. I'll end this live out and then set you up to come up on the 5 o'clock one. Will that work? That might be better. Give you a little bit of a chance to figure out how to do it. And I can pull you in a room in Discord and walk you through it step by step. Okay. All right, I'll end this live stream out and I'll set up I'll schedule the new live, and before the stream I'll be able to bring you up and show you everything. I'll pull you up. Like I'll show you what I mean. I'll give you a link, you'll click on it. It'll be I'll show you how to do it. I'll end this stream out and we'll do that. Okay. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Um say a prayer for Troy's family and give God some praise. Um, yeah. Remember to be kind to to one another. Kindness is free, and hate costs us so much. Um, share always share a smile and save a life because you never know. The life you save might just be your own. Lock your windows and doors. It is absolutely crazy out here in these streets. And with that said, you guys, I will see you at 5. Thank you for listening. Please share Troy Strope's story um, and help keep her voice remembered. And not as the victim of Michael Lacy, but as the woman who put him away so that he could never hurt another person again. You guys, I'll see you at 5. Until then, blessings.